wonderful students. Welcome to a new week and a new unit. So as we are approaching the close to this school year, I've done a lot of pondering, a lot of meditating on what's the most important thing that I can share with you. You know, if you take nothing else away from this virtual classroom, what would I like you to take and transfer into other aspects of your life? You know, a lot of you don't like English. You don't like reading poetry, especially the poetry that I assign. Or you don't like reading these old short stories or excerpts from these really difficult novels. You know, I get it. Maybe you don't like the parts of speech or the grammar or the mechanics of writing. I understand. And so many of you don't see a correlation between your real life and what you're learning in school. And so I really wanted to, for this last unit, I wanted the topic to be something that I felt passionate about, that I felt was very important, that could benefit you for the rest of your life. One of the things that I am noticing in our society, as I'm reading news, as I'm reading some other nonfiction texts like essays and books, as I'm on social media, social networking, as I'm just hearing and seeing people converse with one another, I'm noticing a common thread, and it's alarming to me. And the thing that I'm noticing is a lack of critical thinking skills, the inability to really consider multiple perspectives to an argument, to an issue, really consider those perspectives as legitimate ways of thinking, still being able to formulate an opinion based on reason, based on logic, based on past experience. I'm seeing a lack of those skills, and I'm seeing an increase of people responding purely on emotion, feelings, right? I feel angry. I don't know why I feel angry, but I feel angry. I'm going to just act and lash out at the other side. Or I feel good when I'm around this group. I'm going to cling to that group. I'm going to gravitate toward this group. I don't know really why I like it, but I like it and I want to hang around it. And anybody who confronts me about that, anybody who's opposed to that, I will bite your head off. But don't ask me to articulate anything. I'm not going to use sound arguments. I'm just going to use maybe a few phrases that I will repeat. I'm going to use vulgarities, profanity, if you attempt to dissuade me. Okay, I'm seeing a lot of this happening. And so this unit, we are going to focus on critical thinking, developing our critical thinking skills in real life situations. We're going to start out this week with looking at a situation that occurred a couple of years ago in Washington State at a university. Now, I'm a big proponent of going to college. Okay, for me, going to college helped me be a better critical thinker. It helped me formulate my own opinions, figure out what it is that I believed, what it is that I understood, and not just take it for granted, but really construct arguments that could help me articulate what it is that I believed. And that's what university did for me. One of the reasons why it did that for me is because I was introduced to a lot of different opinions. And many of those opinions went against my personal beliefs. And so instead of just saying, talk to the hand, because the face don't want to listen, instead of doing that, I started thinking, why do I believe the way I believe? You know, what is it about my beliefs and my opinions that makes me feel like they are correct? And so I started thinking more critically about what it is I believed. I started doing some research on how I could formulate an argument if the situation arose, and it did arise. There were times when I was confronted, and instead of having a lot of this, a lot of friction, I ended so many great arguments with people where I personally felt like we were both edified because of it. You know, they would leave feeling okay. I would leave feeling okay. We didn't change each other's minds necessarily, but we at least got to have an ethical conversation, a respectful conversation, where we could share our opinions with one another without biting each other's heads off. And I think that is the beauty of this country that we have. And there are many great countries where freedom of expression and speech is available. But we have a country that was founded upon that principle. And unfortunately today I'm seeing a lot of people use it unwisely. We're using it just to chant. We're using it to regurgitate stuff that we've heard and not really use our brains to really articulate our message effectively. So we're going to start this week with an example from that Evergreen College. And you are going to write a little bit about what you're seeing, how arguments are being expressed, what points are being made, and how they're being presented. I want you to think about body language. I want you to think about tone. I want you to think about the arguments that are just being presented verbally, you know. So you're going to look at all of that because really all of it has to do with something called rhetoric. And rhetoric is how we present our arguments. And that includes everything, nonverbal and verbal communication. I'm giving off a message right now wearing this pinkish, salmonish colored shirt, right? I'm sharing a message. If I was wearing just, you know, sometimes I have done this, I'm wearing a hoodie and, you know, maybe I got SpaghettiOs all over my face and I'm here to share something, that's going to convey a message to you about the type of persona that I'm presenting, right? It's going to convey a message. So just how we look, how we compose ourselves while we're giving some sort of communication, and the words we say and the tone that we use in saying it. You know, have you ever heard somebody who will say something and what they're saying exactly isn't offensive or it's not rude or anything like that, but it's the tone that they use? And they're like, well, I didn't say anything bad. I just said this. Well, yeah, but it's how you said it, sir or ma'am. It's how you said it. It's your tone. Then as the unit goes on, you are going to write a short essay, a critical thinking essay, based on a controversial topic. And I want you to pick a topic that you are very interested in, a topic that is definitely controversial, and I still want you to be respectful, ethical, and acknowledge opposing viewpoints. Because if you do not acknowledge opposing viewpoints, and when I say opposing viewpoints, I mean more than just they believe differently. You know, you need to really explain the opposing viewpoints. And if you can do that respectfully and ethically, then you're on your way to being able to develop critical thinking skills. If you can listen to an opposing point of view and not get your blood boiled over it and really listen, you are on a good path, my friend. The example you're going to see today is from Evergreen College, and it is pretty much students, a group of college students, versus a biology professor. Now, this is over race. You know, it's a controversial topic. It's a hot button issue. And the professor considers himself to be a progressive individual, right? He considers himself not a racist person. But he also is seeing patterns in what is occurring, and he calls students out on the patterns of the mob mentality. And you're going to see a few videos. You're going to read about the context of the situation. And then I want you to formulate your own opinion, what you recognize, what you see in the arguments, because how we present ourselves is part of the message that we're sharing. So that's what we're going to do this week. And as the weeks go on, you are going to write a critical thinking essay based on a controversial topic. Not only are you just going to write a critical thinking essay, it's going to be researched. So you're going to research more into your personal opinion, if you have a personal opinion on it, or it's going to be a research. So after this week, you are going to write your own critical thinking essay. It's not just going to be just a critical thinking essay, because part of critical thinking is researching on a topic, learning more about it. You need to learn about different perspectives before you can formulate, you know, a good opinion, a good solid opinion on the issue. You need to do research on it. It shouldn't be just, oh, my dad said this, or my mom said that, or my friend said this, or I heard it on TV once. Don't just regurgitate things that you're hearing. You need to form the opinion based on what you're learning from different sources, from different opinions, okay? Different perspectives. So that's what we're going to study this week and for the next few weeks. So this week you're going to learn more about this Evergreen College instance. You're going to analyze the videos, the arguments that are being made, ways they could improve their arguments, both sides, and then in the following weeks you're going to compose your own critical thinking essay based on any controversial topic you want to discuss. So hope you have a wonderful time. If you have any questions, please let me know. And I hope you find this interesting and relevant. And we'll talk to you later next week. Bye, dear friends.